Good morning, everyone. Yay, yoga in the park. So go ahead and come to a comfortable position. I think what's really nice is to come into constructive rest pose. And for this, you could bring your feet as wide as the mat, allow your knees to tent together, and maybe just either relax your arms at your sides, or you could bring your hands to rest on your belly. And then just start to notice your breath, maybe become aware of this present moment. This whole year in my yoga classes, I've been exploring the themes in this book called The Yamas and the Niyamas. And it's the ethical practices of yoga. This book is written by Deborah Adele. So for the month of June, the theme is called, hold on one second, or is it? It's called Saucha, which means purity. The jewel of Saucha invites us to purify our bodies, our thoughts, and our words. As we purify ourselves physically and mentally, we become less cluttered and heavy. Purification brings about a brightness and a clarity to our essence. As we purify ourselves from the heaviness and clutter of toxins, distractions, and scatteredness, we gain the clarity to meet each moment with integrity and freshness. We become more pure in our relationship with each moment. So if this niyama, which is all about our relationship to ourselves, if this niyama called saucha or purity speaks to you, you might decide to set that as your intention for your practice today. If there is another intention that you'd like to bring to mind, you can go ahead and think about that intention. What would you like to cultivate in your life, or what would you like to release? Allowing that intention to come to mind just as easily, you can allow it to drift and plant itself at your heart center. Just an invitation to know that this is your own practice. And so you can offer yourself gratitude for showing up, and just know that anything that you do is what's right for you. So feel free to modify anything that I'm offering today. With your intention planted at your heart center, you can start to tune into your breath. Allow your spine to relax onto the earth. Feel the support of the earth rise to meet you. And just let go of any extra heaviness. Maybe allow yourself for this hour to let go of your thoughts, tuning into the present moment, becoming aware of sounds around you, and starting to breathe fully into the abdomen, allowing the belly to rise and fall. And then we can invite some gentle movement. So with the knees bent and your feet as wide as the mat, go ahead and allow both knees to gently fall over to the left. You might turn your gaze to the right. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, allow the knees to fall over to the right, and maybe send the gaze over to the left. You can go ahead and gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side, allowing the gaze to gently fall in the opposite direction. Oh yeah. So we're windshield wipering the knees from side to side and turning the gaze from left to right in the opposite direction of your knees. The next time your knees come back to center, go ahead and reach your palms up towards the sky and then grasp opposite elbows with your opposite hands. Now, as your knees fall to the left, you can reach your elbows over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring the elbows over to the left as the knees fall over to the right. And just gently oscillating side to side like this. Feel free to take your time following the pace of your own breath. And then we'll come back to center whenever you're ready. And you can bring your knees up towards the sky with your shins parallel with the sky. And go ahead and reach your arms up towards the sky as if you're in a tabletop position, upside down. You can draw your belly to your spine. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and reach the right arm long and the left leg long. Exhale, draw it back to center. Inhale, switch sides. Left arm extends, right leg extends to hover. And you can go ahead and alternate side to side. Just awakening the strength of your core. Anytime you feel your thoughts start to wander, go ahead and draw them back to the present moment. And when you feel complete from left to right, you can come back to your upside down tabletop and then bring your feet back down to the mat. Plant your arms next to your hips. And with your next inhale, we'll lift the arms up overhead, reach them past the ears, and exhale to lower them back down. And you might even roll your chin up towards your chest, stretching through the back of the neck. Inhale, lower the head back down, reach the arms up overhead past the ears. And exhale, lower the hands back down and maybe roll the chin up towards the chest. Let's take 3 more rounds like this. And then when you feel complete from left to right or top to bottom, that's your 3rd round, you can walk the heels in towards the sit bones. And then on your next inhale, press the hips up towards the sky, coming into bridge pose. You might shimmy the shoulders under the body and interlace the hands behind you. Take a few deep breaths in your bridge. Feeling the wind at your sails. And then when you're ready, you can roll back down 1 vertebrae at a time, releasing the hands, and then roll over to one side to come into a fetal position before pressing yourself up into a seat. Come into any comfortable seat. Hi there. And we'll inhale to draw the arms up overhead, reaching up, looking up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Let's interlace the fingers. Start to draw a few figure eights with the wrists. Sending gratitude to the wrists for all the work they do for you. And then reversing the direction of your figure eights. You might feel some grinding and crunching. Just lubricating the joints here. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands onto your knees. And let's start to inhale, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, allow the shoulder blades to cascade down the back. Inhale, we roll. Exhale, gliding the shoulder blades back and down. You can take a few turns like this. It might feel good to oscillate one shoulder at a time. And when you're ready, we'll reverse the direction, bringing the shoulders up from behind and down around in front. And then we'll sync up the movement, allow the shoulder blades to kiss at your back, and then bring them up towards the ears, and exhale, allow them to cascade down in front. A few more rotations like this. Breathing into the shoulders. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to stillness, and then you can allow your right ear to come towards your right shoulder. You might find stillness here, or you might begin to gently nod the head yes, inviting in new opportunities, allowing the left shoulder to melt away from the left ear, and maybe gently shaking the head no, releasing that which does not serve you. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to stillness, and then on your next exhale, allow your chin to trace the front of your chest, and then allow the left ear to fall towards the left shoulder. Sending some nice deep breaths, cascading down the right side of the neck, allowing the right shoulder to melt away from the ear. And again, here you might gently shake the head no. And then gently nod the head yes. And then we'll come back to stillness, and you can gently lift the head up towards the sky. When you're ready, go ahead and come into a tabletop position. So we'll have the hands underneath the knees, or sorry, the hands underneath the shoulders. I don't know how you'd put your hands underneath your knees, and your knees underneath your hips. And from here, we'll inhale to drop the belly for cow pose. Exhale to round the spine, coming into cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. After a few rounds, it might feel good to explore some creative movement, maybe anything that feels good. You might try drawing a circle with the belly button, imagining you were tracing the inside of a hula hoop. Finding any places of interest. You could pause there for a breath. And go ahead and reverse the direction of your circle when you're ready. After one more nice deep breath, we'll meet up in a neutral spine. And you can bring the big toes to touch, open the knees wide, and sink the hips back to come into child's pose, allowing the forehead to rest on the mat. Sending breath cascading down to the shoulders and the back. Imagine any of that heaviness in thoughts or body sinking off of the back of the body and melting away into the earth. It makes me think about the idea of how our trees have a symbiotic relationship with our bodies, where we are exhaling the nourishment that the trees need while they're giving us the oxygen that we need. Sometimes when we can give up something that isn't serving us, it might be beneficial for somebody else or something else. Go ahead and walk the hands over to the right, reaching the left arm long. You might send the gaze underneath the right armpit. And then we'll walk the hands back to center and over to the left, reaching the right arm away from the right hip. You might send the gaze underneath the left armpit. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center and we can find ourselves in downward facing dog. So coming back up to tabletop position, you can tuck the toes under and press the hips up and back, reaching the hips behind you. You might start pedaling the heels one at a time, sashaying the hips from side to side. Whenever you're ready, we'll walk our feet to our hands or our hands to our feet. Coming into a forward fold, you can walk your feet a little wide to make room for your belly. And then maybe wrap your hands around your opposite elbows, coming into a ragdoll position. Once more, you might shake your head no, releasing that which does not serve you, and nod your head yes, inviting in new opportunities. And then we'll come back to center, releasing the hands down. You can press the palms against your shins and inhale for lifting halfway with a flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And then we'll inhale, bend the knees and circle sweep the hands up towards the sky, looking up, reaching up, and exhale to bring the hands to the heart center. Let's try and build a little bit of heat outside in the cold. So I realize you can probably move a little bit more here. Let's inhale, reach. We're going to do a few half sun salutations. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to circle sweep your arms back up towards the sky. And exhale, draw the hands to heart center. Let's do 3 more rounds of half sun salutation. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And then inhale to swan dive back up tall. Exhale, reach the hands to the heart center. 2 more at your own pace. If you'd like to include the full sun salutation with downward dog and upward facing dog, you're welcome to do that to build even more heat. When you're ready, after your next round, we'll meet up at standing, coming into mountain pose Tadasana. If you're not at the front of your mat, you can step to the front of your mat, and then let's slide the left foot back at an angle, coming into a warrior one position. It's a little bit rocky on the bottom, huh? So find your front knee bent over your ankle. You can have your torso and your hips facing forward and your back foot at a 45-degree angle. Let's inhale to reach the arms up overhead, lifting the heart. And then exhale, we'll come into a victory pose, leaning the chest forward, reaching the hands back. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to reach it forward. Inhale to reach it up. And exhale, reach the chest forward, lean the hands back. And then we'll inhale for warrior one. With your next exhale, bring your hands behind you, and you can either clasp the hands together or maybe even grasp onto the back of your shirt if the hands don't quite meet. And then with your next exhale, we'll come into humble warrior. So you can allow the chest to rest on the front thigh, and you might even allow the clasped hands to fall overhead. That feels like a nice stretch for the shoulders. Take a nice deep breath here, allowing the thigh and the strong legs to support the torso in humble warrior. With your next exhale, allow the hands to fall down to the lower back. You can release the grasp. You can bring the hands onto the mat and then step the right foot off to the side. So your right hand is on the inside. And then you can slide the left foot back to meet, or the right foot back to meet the left, coming into downward facing dog. You can take a few nice deep breaths in your down dog. And then when you're ready, we'll come forward to a plank. You can always lower onto your knees and allow yourself to lower down onto the chest, planting the palms underneath the shoulders. We'll roll the shoulders up, lifting the heart for baby cobra. Allowing the hands to float gently onto the mat, feeling a nice gentle back bend. And then when you're ready, we can tuck the toes under and press up through table or plank and back to your downward facing dog. Whenever you're ready, you can walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, finding a forward fold. And then inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands up. And exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Take a moment to close the eyes here, checking in with the breath, maybe coming back to your intention for your practice. You might notice subtle differences from left to right. And then we'll flutter the eyes open. You can make your way to the top of your mat. We're going to get ready for that sequence on the second side. So with your left foot forward, you can slide your right foot back, coming into your strong warrior one stance. You might have your right foot pivoted a little bit at 45 degrees, and then you can bend the front knee over your front ankle. Whenever you're ready, you can inhale your arms up towards the sky for warrior one. And then exhale, swim the arms back as you lean the torso forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Warrior one. Exhale, float the torso forward. Inhale to back to warrior one. Exhale, victory pose. And then inhale back to warrior one. We're going to get ready for humble warrior. So you can swim the arms behind you. Maybe you interlace the hands the opposite way. So the awkward way this time. On your next exhale, allow the torso to come to rest on the front thigh, allowing the head to hang. You might even allow the arms to stretch behind you, allowing the knuckles to fall overhead. Take a nice deep breath in your humble warrior. Notice what you can let go of here. What thoughts can you release? And with your next exhale, we'll release the hands down to the low back. And then inhale to rise into warrior one. Exhale to float the hands forward. You can step the left foot off to the side, planting both palms, and then shimmy that left foot back to meet the right, coming into your downward facing dog. Feel free in your down dog to take a few breaths here, or if you'd like, you can either take a vinyasa by coming forward to a plank, or maybe you want to rest in child's pose. Finding whichever option suits you. It's yogi's choice. Whenever you're ready, we'll meet up in tabletop. So if you're in your down dog, you can lower your knees. If you're in child's pose, you can come up to hands and knees. And then from here, we're all going to meet up one more time in downward facing dog. So lifting the hips, tucking the toes under. You might again pedal the heels side to side. And then we'll walk the feet to the hands or the hands towards the feet to come into forward fold. You can wrap your arms around your opposite elbows. And once more, dangle, ragdolling a little side to side. We'll release the hands back down towards the ground and then bring the hands onto the shins to inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold, and then begin to bend at the knees, sinking the hips back into chair. And you might float the arms up past the ears. With your next exhale, let's open to the left as if you're hugging the earth with your hands. Inhale the left arm and right arm back up towards the sky. And then exhale, we'll hug it over to the right, extending the right arm back. Inhale back to center. And we'll float the hands up towards the sky, straightening the legs. And exhale to bring the hands to the heart center. We're going to get ready for our standing balancing pose, tree pose. So wherever feels good for your standing, let's come into mountain with your hands facing forward. And then you can bring your hands to your hips and peel your right heel off of the mat. Maybe you kickstand that heel right against your ankle. And then you have the option to bring the right foot onto the left shin or calf, or maybe the upper thigh, just not on the knee. From here, you can bring your hands to your heart center. And let's bring our intention back to mind. Finding a place right off the tip of the nose, a drishti can be helpful for balance. And then allow that intention to grow from your heart center as you maybe reach your arms up overhead, growing your tree limbs tall. And just like your exhale supports the tree and your inhale is supported by the tree, you can think about letting go of anything that's holding you back, allowing your torso, your arms to be light as you ground down through your legs. When you're ready, we'll bring the right knee out in front, step the foot out, step the foot back down to the ground, bring the feet wide, and just shake it off. Let it go. And we'll come back to center and get ready for the second side. So go ahead and find your balance. Start out maybe in your mountain pose. You might close down your eyes or soften your gaze. And then when you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open and then just peel your left heel off of the mat, bringing most of your weight into your right leg, grounding down. You can kickstand your heel onto your ankle, or maybe walk that left foot up onto the calf or onto the upper thigh. And then when you're ready, you can allow your hands to meet at your heart center, finding a gentle gaze off the tip of the nose, a fixed place, maybe right in front of you to focus on. And with your intention at your heart center, you can allow that to grow forward, reaching your arms up overhead and finding any variation of hands that work for you. Allowing that soft gaze, the drishti, to keep you in balance. Taking a few gentle breaths, allowing the shoulders to melt away from the ears. Feel the lower half of your body grounding down, releasing anything that doesn't serve you to nourish the earth. While the top half of you is light. When you're ready, you can bring the left knee up, kick the left foot out, and then step it out wide and shake it off. When you're ready, we'll come back to the top of our mats and let's inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to swan dive forward. Inhale for halfway lift and exhale for forward fold. Go ahead and plant your palms and walk your feet back to find downward facing dog. One more time, we'll come into a plank. You can always lower onto your knees and then lowering onto the belly. Let's bring the elbows underneath the shoulders this time. You can plant your palms on your mat for Sphinx Pose, bringing your heart forward, finding a gentle back bend, keeping a soft gaze. From here, let's bring our palms behind us with the palms face up. You can turn your gaze to the left and allow your right ear to melt onto the ground. You might feel a gentle sensation of a stretch through the neck, and allow yourself to delight in this time of rest. With your next inhale, we're going to reach our chest forward, lift the hands and lift the legs to come into Locust Pose, balancing on the belly. You might swim the arms forward and swim the arms back. Exhale to swim the arms forward. And inhale to swim the arms back. Maybe one more time. And then turn your gaze to the right this time and allow all of your effort to soften with the palms face up. You can allow the left ear to rest on the mat. Allowing yourself to delight once more in this time of rest, relaxing all of the muscles. Feel the support of the earth rise to meet you. You can let everything go as you feel the weight of gravity holding you steady. You might take a moment to just marvel at being in this time and space, in the whole grand scheme of the universe. When you're ready, we'll bring the palms back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and then press up through tabletop. From here, we'll walk the knees forward and come onto the seat. And then you can extend the feet and legs out in front of you and reach your arms forward. So this is a variation of boat pose. We have a lot of different options and modifications. So you could bring your hands behind your thighs and begin to tip back to find balance on your tailbone. Maybe reaching the arms out, challenging the core. So finding whatever variation works for you. You might keep one foot on the ground or lift them both. Or maybe bring both feet to the ground, whatever works best for you. And then whenever you're ready, we're gonna relax our boat pose by landing the feet. Go ahead and slide the hands behind you so that the palms are facing towards the feet and the palms are underneath the shoulders. We'll walk the heels in, and on the next inhale, you can lift the hips to come into altar pose. Maybe send the gaze towards the navel, up towards the sky, or it might feel good to relax the gaze behind you. On your next exhale, you can gently land the tailbone and the sit bones, and then reach the arms forward. Let's do both poses one more time. So find your variation of boat pose. And then when you're ready, you can land your boat pose, slide the hands back, walk the heels in, and lift up one more time for altar pose. This might feel good to stretch the right heel up towards the sky and then cross the ankle over the thigh and come back down to sitting. Maybe it feels good on, you can sit, you can land your hips back down on the ground. And if you didn't make it there, you can always stretch the left leg forward, cross the right ankle, and then walk the heel in. You might feel a nice stretch on the right outer thigh, or hip, I should say. With your next exhale, we'll bring both heels back down. Let's inhale to lift the hips. And if you'd like, you can stretch the left foot forward, cross it over, bring the ankle onto the thigh, and then land the hips back down. And if that didn't quite work, you can always stretch that right leg out, cross the left leg over, and then walk the heel in to find a stretch for the outer thigh, or outer hip, I should say. Maybe gently rocking a little side to side. You can flex the toes towards the knee. And then when you're ready, we'll uncross the legs, reach the arms out in front, and allow yourself to gently roll on down onto your back. If there are any last shapes you'd like to take before your final resting pose, you can do them now. Maybe a happy baby pose, Reaching out for your ankles. Maybe rocking a little side to side. And it's yogi's choice. Any other last poses you'd like to take before your Shavasana, you can feel free to take them now. And then allow yourself to settle into your final rest. Softening your forehead. Smoothing out the creases in your eyelids. Releasing the clasp of your jaw. Today, our breath practices and postures are a means of purifying the body. As our meditation and following an ethical system like the yamas and the niyamas, we can realize that there is a great energy that lies mostly dormant within each of us. And this is the energy of consciousness and awakening. Whatever form of purification, we can begin with an intention of lightening the load that we are carrying. These loads can weigh us down in our body, mind, and spirit. The guideline of purity invites us to move into ease and do what it takes to get rid of the heaviness wherever we find it in our lives. Imagine your thoughts that drift by are like clouds in the sky. Allow them to gently dissipate. You can allow yourself to feel held and supported, cradled by the earth. Feel the weight of gravity holding you steady, keeping you grounded on the earth. Let go of any effort. And we'll rest here for around 5 minutes. As you notice any thoughts coming in, you might offer them gratitude and let them to gently dissipate and float on by. You can begin to notice any sounds. Start to become aware of the breeze and the air caressing your skin. Start to invite some gentle movements into your fingers and into your toes. Gently rotating the wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, on a big inhale, reach the arms up overhead, finding a long body stretch. When you're ready, you can roll onto one side, coming into a fetal position, cradling your head on your biceps. Allow yourself to rest there for 2 more rounds of breath. Maybe bending your knees towards your chest a little, offering yourself support. And then whenever you're ready, you can press yourself up into a seat, taking your time. Once you arrive in your seated position, you can inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead and drawing the hands to the heart center. Allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to guide you through your practice today. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. Just let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. Just going to turn this off.